All right, today we're going to take a look at the Absolute Edition of Identity Crisis. And this, I'm just going to start off the bat, might be one of my favorite comics I've ever read from DC. And I can see why some might not like it, and we'll get into that in a minute. But as you see right now, I'm kind of just going over how it looks. Now, an Absolute Edition is different than an omnibus, so that's why I'm showing it off a bit. Has a slipcase cover. This one in particular has an actual, takeoff cover. I'm sorry, a plastic cover, whatever you want to call it. That you can take off as well. But this is one beautiful book. If you don't know, Absolute Editions are actually bigger than even omnibuses, and it really gets to showcase the art, which you're going to get to see in a moment. But in terms of just the look of this book, Absolute Editions are, to me, the premium, best looking books out there in terms of comics. This is what you want to get. Now, these are very expensive most times, but if you want to read something like this with fantastic art, this is the way to go. And so this is a murder mystery. So this starts off with the death of one of the major characters in the DC lore. And kind of, instead of just focusing on being superheroes and going out and beating up bad guys, it really is, and that does happen, we really do focus on the grief of it, of dealing with the loss of a wife. And I think that is really heartbreaking to watch, but well done here. And so when that event happens, when that starts off the entire book, then we get into the murder mystery plot. And despite all the heroes in the DC universe really coming together to find out what happened, this does feel more grounded and more focused on character development, which I love. And like I said, there's a few characters that get a lot of treatment in terms of growth, but the biggest to me, or the main character here, is really Green Arrow in a lot of ways. He's the central focus. And Ali, man, he's just so good because he has that good nature in him. He's logical, more logical than most, and sometimes he has to make the tough choices that other heroes can't. There's not a lot of fighting in here either, which is a big thing for a lot of people. Besides one big fight scene with Deathstroke, a lot of this is dialogue heavy and trying to figure out who is hunting who is the murderer here. And that's what makes it really exciting, because it is a murder mystery, but it's also a thriller in a way that I really enjoyed. What I like the most too is the League dealing with morally difficult decisions, especially in the past. And though the ending was really well done, if not sad, I actually didn't guess the killer at all, when I really should have, because it's kind of obvious. Now, I reread this a few times, so rereading Absolute, I knew who it was, and the hints are there. But it's a great reveal. I thought it was good. I thought the fight was really good. While Small was amazing and got to showcase Deathstroke as an actual villain. And one of the biggest pluses here is the artwork, which is top notch. Some of the shots in this just made me gasp. I mean, especially the funeral shot is so well done when you get to see all the characters there. It is, remarkable. So, if you're going to go into the negative of this, I guess it is a little bit dark. It's a little bit more realistic. So if you're not into that for your superhero stories, it's definitely understandable. There are characters that die here in kind of disturbing ways, so it is hard to watch. But if you're someone that's a little bit more open-minded to taking different types of tones and genres into your superhero genre, I think this works really well. I think it hit me harder than most comics because I actually felt sad for these characters dealing with these issues. And I was also hooked with the murder mystery storyline. That, to me, got me right into it. So I don't think Identity Crisis is for everyone. I'm going to be just open. I don't think everybody would love this story. It's definitely a darker story than most DC stories. But I think people who do connect to this, who do really love the actual plot in this and the characters, I think this is one of easily, not only the best event comics that DC's put out, but one of my favorite comics of DC overall. And it's one of the first Absolutes I ever bought because I wanted to read this again in just big format, and it was definitely worth it. Now, this is probably out of print at the time that I'm doing this review, but hopefully it gets reprinted because I think this is one of the best events worth reading. And I think we're at the 20-year anniversary next year, or maybe this year, or maybe in 2 years. I don't know exactly. But this one's worth reading. If you never read DC before either, this was easy to jump into as one of my first DC comics. I knew some of the characters. Rereading it, knowing a lot more DC lore now, it's even better. But you don't really need to know that much history about DC to really enjoy it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. This is easily one of my favorite comics. And as an Absolute, it is a 5 out of 5 in my opinion in terms of just the structure of the book and the look of it. It is beautiful to look at, but also it's one of my favorite DC stories. I hope you liked this review. If you did, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more Absolutes, I do have some, so I will be reviewing a few more. But if you like these, I hope you enjoy the next ones that I have coming out. And everybody else, have a good day.